All right, folks, Donald Trump, he is stopping citizens from nearly 20 countries from coming into the United States. And of course, we know he's targeting African nations. No shock. He called African nations shithole countries in his first term. And so these restrictions by the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief showcases that what he really wants is white people in America. So if we unpack, we're talking about Afghanistan. If you look at the people, Afghanistan, Iran, those are some of the countries. Oh, guess what? All y'all Cubans, y'all was sitting here celebrating, throwing parties about Trump being elected. And guess what? He just told y'all kinfolk, y'all can't come here either. Okay? Folks, and so when we start unpacking all the other countries, guess what? We're talking about Sudan, Congo, Haiti, Chad, look at this, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, all these nations. We got Cuba, Venezuela. Laos face partial restrictions on travel and immigration as well. The ban is set to begin June 9th. It is applied to both permanent immigrants as well as folks with temporary visitors, with exceptions for U.S. green cards and holders in sports events, stuff like that. So listen to this idiot.
Mr. President, on your new travel ban, why now? And if the Boulder attack was part of your reasoning, why not include Egypt on that list where the suspect is from?
Well, because Egypt has been a country that we deal with very closely. They have things under control. The countries that we have don't have things under control. And why now? I can say that it can't come soon enough, frankly. We want to keep bad people out of our country. The Biden administration allowed some horrendous people, and we're getting them out one by one, and we're not stopping until we get them out. We have thousands of murderers. I even hate to say this in front of the chancellor. Of course, you have a little problem too with some of the people that were allowed into your country. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It shouldn't have happened. I told her it shouldn't have happened what she did, but you have your own difficulty with that, and we do, and we're moving them out, and we're moving them out very strongly. But it can't come fast enough. We want to get them out. We want to get them out now. We don't want to have other bad people coming into our country. By using the word bad, I'm being nice.
Well, New York Congressman, this was actually funny. He was on CNN, and he finally said what white Democrats should be saying about the truth about what's going on. Check it out.
The other executive action that President Trump took tonight, banning travel from these 12 nations, restricting it partially from 7 others. What is your reaction to that move from the White House tonight?
I mean, it's pretty consistent with what his quote unquote immigration policy is, which is just essentially to keep anyone who's not white out of the country. And that's what he's trying to do with these mass deportations of people who are going through the asylum process, which is a lawful pathway. That's now what he's trying to do in targeting these specific countries. And so it's a combination of this effort to push forward with this great replacement theory, as well as just to distract from what's really going on, which is a revolt against his terrible reconciliation bill that cuts taxes for billionaires and increases our deficit by $2.5 trillion.
Yannick Gill is senior counsel at Human Rights First. He joins us right now. Yannick, he does not want black and brown people in this country. It's abundantly clear.
And I can't say it any more than Representative Dan Goldman. This is not immigration policy. This is not foreign affairs. And this abundantly has nothing to do with national security. This is about race. And when we look at the countries that were chosen, there's only 2 things that they have in common. One, majority of the countries are majority Muslim countries. And 2, these are all black and brown countries. And as you said at the top of the show, it's not a coincidence that over half of them are African nations or predominantly black nations like Haiti. Again, this is following a terrible terrorist attack that happened on the soil, but it was clearly used as an excuse. Otherwise, Egypt would have been part of this list. This is following a long list of previous bans that he tried in the first administration. He got sued. He tried again. He tried again. And it's clear This is nothing more than an attack on anyone that doesn't fit what Donald Trump thinks an American should look like. It's a brazenly anti-Black and racist assault on our human rights.
Do you expect there to be more lawsuits this time?
Absolutely. In addition to the lawsuits that are coming from Human Rights First, many of our partners were up. We were in communication. I was in the middle of a dinner, had to pick up my laptop and begin to work and plan and strategize. We are all trying to figure out exactly which parts of the INA he's trying to use and whether or not it makes sense, exactly how and when and where to strategically litigate these matters. These things are all unconstitutional. The movements that he's doing are all illegal. And it's clear this is simply a racist attack on our human rights. Nothing more, nothing less.
And it's no surprise Republicans are going along with it. And when you heard him give the explanation why Egypt wasn't on the list, how much of a joke was that?
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, Roland. Because you have to think. When I saw that Cuba was also on the list, Venezuela was also on the list. You may recall from our first conversation, I'm a proud Florida man. And I can't wait to speak with some of those Republican offices and just ask them, what are you going to say to your constituents now that the legal pathways that they're always lauding, the same legal pathways that they say you should be taking, are now further being crumbled? This is only going to hurt asylum seekers. These are going to hurt refugees, people trying to get student visas. These aren't criminals. These are people attempting to do things through existing legal pathways that Trump is, again, shutting down if you have too much melanin.
And a lot of those people in Florida, they were voting for him. They were having celebrations. Those Cubans and Venezuelans, but I bet they haven't. They might want to start get our shirts hashtag we tried to tell you.
And you know, there's a part of me that doesn't want to say I told you so, but I think right now we do. We have to remind folks, this is exactly what you voted for. This is not a surprise. This is exactly what happened and Trump won. This is what he ran on. He said that he was going to close the borders. He said in 2018, we need more people from Norway. He's saying the quiet part out loud. And at this point, we are now facing the repercussions of a racist president that only wants people that look like his wife coming into this country.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so it is no doubt. All right, Yannick, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Always a pleasure, Roland.
All right, folks, my panel, Dr. Nola Haynes at Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, Washington, D.C., Robert Patillo, he's an attorney. Also, now working on Capitol Hill. What are you doing on Capitol Hill?
We write stuff, things be around. So you got to keep it vague, Roland.
Yeah, keep it vague. You got to tell me what the hell you doing. Who you working for?
We'll work for Congressman Jackson on making sure we're
Congressman Jonathan Jackson.
Yeah, not Ronnie Jackson out of Texas, Dr. Feelgood.
So you guys got specified.
Yeah, so we can make sure we're coordinating conversations and articulating things for the district.
So let's get right to it. Nola, I want to start with you. I mean, you look at these countries, it's targeted Black people. And then, again, we tried to tell these people what was going down, but nah, they ain't want to listen. You really on mute, Nola? You really on mute? You really on mute? We got to go through this again. Yes, you on mute. We're just going to go to Robert while Nola's trying to figure out what she's doing with her laptop. Robert, this is a clear target. Yeah, finally.
Look, tell your audience this is a new system. This is a whole new system, y'all. Don't let him sit there and
It's the same laptop your ass been using for the last year.
No, it's not. This is brand new.
Well, guess what? Read the manual.
Send it to me.
No, read your manual.
Can I finish now?
Hell, you didn't even start.
Travel bans.
You didn't even start.
I wish I could have asked Yannick a question because I wanted to ask him a question about the Supreme Court. In 2017, the Supreme Court told Donald Trump that the bans were legal on the grounds of presidential authority. So I'm curious as to what the new approaches would be for this extension of the travel bans. And this is what makes it very interesting, is that it's an extension of the 2017 and 2020 travel bans, right? And so while all the lower courts, like Yannick said that it was completely illegal, that it was racist, it was biased, the Supreme Court said, well, he can pretty much do what he wants to do. And then the second thing I want to point out, this is also on the heels of the second round of Afrikaners coming to the United States. I think they just got here yesterday. So it is very clear who Donald Trump thinks are good people and who he thinks are bad people. And clearly, if you have any melanin in your skin, you are automatically deemed a bad person.
Robert, one of the countries is Sierra Leone, and there's a certain black actor from Houston who is big time MAGA. It's amazing how his Twitter feed has been real quiet. He's got dual citizenship with Sierra Leone and the United States. And I'm talking about Isaiah Washington. He made a whole big deal. It's amazing how he's been quiet, that Trump is now banning folk from the country of his roots, his DNA.
I think it's interesting. I think many of the people in the MAGA movement are finding this out. We'll probably talk about Elon finding this out a little bit later. But the fact that Donald Trump is a white nationalist, that has to be the prevailing thing to Donald Trump is a white nationalist. His belief is that America should be a majority white nation. How do we know this? As was just stated, he is importing white people to the United States of America from South Africa. There are other countries, there are actual genocides that are taking place right now. And what are we seeing? We are seeing that despite the genocide taking place in Sudan, despite the genocide taking place in other parts of Myanmar and other parts of the world, those people are literally banned from coming to the United States of America. But he is welcoming with open arms on the justification of a fake white genocide that we are going to be bringing in South Africans. Go a step further. He wants to make Greenland a territory and annex their white people also into the United States of America. Those nice Denmark, Dutch, or what were they called, those people from Denmark, he wants those in America. He wants to make Canada the only other majority white country in the Western Hemisphere. He wants to make that the 51st state. How much more explicit does he need to be in his policy? He is saying that if you are 90 miles off the U.S. coast and facing civil unrest in Haiti, you can't come here. But if you're in South Africa and somebody burns someone else's field and there's a video, we need you here. So from here on out, for the people who thought he was joking, who did not believe what he was saying, who looked at Steve Bannon, who looked at Stephen Miller, who hurt Charlottesville and very fine people on both sides that didn't believe it, we are now seeing that that is the truth of where we are at currently. And when you're looking at the white nationalist agenda, now you have to recontextualize every single policy that Trump has put in place to fit it within that rubric. When you're talking about taking away SNAP benefits from poor families, that is meant to directly impact poor black and brown families. We are talking about getting rid of public housing assistance and many of the other programs. That's about reducing the population of black and brown people in this country. We're talking about cutting off USAID to nations around the world that are in need of development aid, which people have estimated have already cost as many as 50,000 lives globally. It's about controlling that. And once you realize that America has now fallen to a white nationalist government, that has to motivate the way that you coordinate your response going forward. This is no longer a political response that we've traditionally had. There's no longer a place where we'll just say, well, we'll wait till the midterm elections and maybe we'll change campaign finance laws or something. We're in an existential battle for the future of black and brown America. And currently, we're more worried about what's going on with Haley and DDG and whatever else is going on in pop culture than actually concentrating on what is the erosion and the reversal of the entirety of the civil rights movement.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.